So, hi there, I'm Travis, and I'll be introducing you to Lens Studio, our tool for building Snapchat lenses. A little bit about myself. I lead a team of engineers at Snap focused on lens experience creation. For the tool, we work on the tool's content, so the templates, the tutorial videos, the documentation, and more. Prior to Snap, I was working at Bad Robot, where I had been working on this augmented reality app called Action Movie Effects. And this experience really ignited this fascination for me for augmented reality as creative, storytelling, and interactive medium. And it's ultimately what led me to Snap 2 years ago. Real quick, those two lenses were actually made as part of our Lens Studio Twitch stream. So what we do is we go on Twitch and start over like 1 or 2 hours, we'll build a lens from start to finish from scratch. So those are some examples. That clock actually tells you the time that it is. So we do have an action-packed hour ahead of us. So first, I'll introduce you to Lens Studio, our tool for creating augmented reality experiences, which we call lenses. Also been showing you some amazing ways our community is using the tool to create experiences. Then we'll do a live demo of building experience and actually submit it to Snapchat. Next, we have two of our official lens creators here. First, Garcia is going to show us some of the experiences he's created, 3D scanning and motion capturing content for Lens Studio. And we also have Sophia Dominguez from her company Surf, who has made these amazing portal experiences that teleport you into other worlds. And finally, we're really excited to share some new features coming to Lens Studio very soon. So first, because Snapchat has always opened up to the camera, we really invite people to be creative and explore their world. 97% of all snaps sent on Snapchat are created using our camera. And this positively impacts the engagement we see with augmented reality on Snapchat. So we see on average 70 million users per day playing with lenses. These users are averaging 3 minutes of playtime per day. So when you add that up, that's over 500 years of playtime that's happening with augmented reality and lenses on Snapchat every single day. Or, put another way, every week, on average, more than half of the entire 13 to 34 US population plays with the lens experience. So overall, Snapchat has been designed to encourage creativity and empower self-expression. All of our creative tools, our lenses, and now Lens Studio are all designed to empower this. So what is Lens Studio? It's the product of 2.5 years of us building lenses for Snapchatters. The tool is actually very similar to what we use internally to build and test our lenses every single day. Given that lenses are such an integral part of the Snapchat experience, we've grown to have this expertise in lens creation, and we're super excited to share that with the world of creators. So, Lens Studio allows you to create and distribute your own Snapchat lenses for free. It supports building both face and world-tracked experiences. And it lets you create augmented reality without building your own application or building your own user base. Also, Snapchat lenses are built to work cross-platform and across high-end and low-end devices. And this is really important because it allows your augmented reality experiences to reach more and more people. Every feature in the tool is built with Snapchat in mind. So for example, the preview panel you see at the far right gives you a live real-time preview of exactly what your lens will look like in Snapchat. Also, you can pair your Snapchat application, the same one you download from the App Store, to the tool to see a preview of it on device. And finally, submitting it's integrated in the tool. You log into your Snapchat account, press submit, and that day you'll be able to share your experience with the world. So you can download it today at lensstudio.snapchat.com. lensstudio.snapchat.com is also our developer portal. So here's where we have guides for every Lens Studio feature. We have a number of templates. We actually have 20 templates now. Each of them have a tutorial video and accompanying guide. We also have a robust JavaScript API for developers wanting to create more complex and more interactive experiences. There's also this budding community forum where we have people asking questions, finding answers, and even helping others, which is really cool to see. Also be sure to check out our subreddit, r/snaplenses. There, we have over 130,000 subscribers since the beginning of this year. And what's really cool about r/snaplenses is that people are posting their lens creations every single day. I just wake up in the morning and click refresh there to see new creations. So we released the tool at the very end of 2017, and we've seen some amazing experiences, and we've seen this amazing community of lens creators form. So here are some examples. All of these lenses are made by artists, developers, and creatives, just like yourselves. One of the most exciting things for me is seeing such a diverse set of content. We've seen the tool used in ways that we never would have expected. Just some examples. In the top left, we see an experience that fully immerses you into a world, like this elevator where you tap the door to open it. Or this portal that appears out of nowhere and takes you to this trippy geometric world that you can walk through. Others that utilize 3D scans. So for example, this burger in the bottom middle is not a real burger. This company has actually put this on different menus at restaurants to scan and see the food you're ordering. So we've seen lenses used for promotion and lenses tied to timely events. In the top middle, you can see a lens created by Jared Leto for his upcoming 30 Seconds to Mars release, Dangerous Night. And to the right of that, you'll see a lens that the Today Show created for their viewers to celebrate the royal wedding, and they released it on that day. And in the bottom left, you'll see a statue of Michelle Obama. This was made for what's called the Black Monuments Project in partnership with a digital news company called Mike. So Mike has actually created multiple statues like this celebrating different black heroes. So lenses can be simple, from like rainbow coloring the screen, which I think you see in the bottom right, or placing this enthusiastically twerking butter in the world, like in the bottom left. But they can also be very complex and very interactive. So with access to our full JavaScript API and physically based rendering, you're able to create these more complex and more interactive experiences. For example, in the bottom middle, that's a pool table that you can actually walk around and play, full game of pool. I particularly like this lens in the top right, coming from an engineering background. It shows you 3D mathematical equations over time. And this creator has actually shared this lens with various classrooms, which is really cool to hear. So we've also run multiple Lens Studio challenges. This is our last one. This was called the Rubber Ducky Challenge. And so what we did was we gave creators a rubber ducky model and asked them to paint it in a tool called Substance Painter. We partnered with them, which is one of the best tools for 3D painting textures. And here's just a sampling of the works. So that samurai lens was one of our winners in the top left. But I like the lens right to the left of that, which the creator here decided not to paint the duck, but to use the duck model as this bubble blowing experience where you had this bubble wand and you tap to fire out bubbles. So now I want to talk a little bit about how these creators are sharing their experiences and what distribution looks like inside Snapchat. So shortly after submitting your lens, you get back both a snap code and a URL. With the snap code, users can scan to unlock the experience. This is the same mechanic our Snapchatters know and love for adding friends on Snapchat. Same way you add a friend, you add a lens experience. Anywhere you can post an image online, you can post your snap code. You can also physically print your snap code. So we've seen the snap codes on product packaging, on menus at restaurants, on stickers, on band posters, for example. Next, with the provided link, you can share your lens anywhere you can share a clickable link on the internet, pretty much anywhere. More importantly, when your link is clicked on mobile by a Snapchat user, it automatically opens Snapchat into the experience. So for mobile users or Snapchatters, they're literally one click away from experiencing your augmented reality creation. So these were ways to drive people into your lens experience. But there's also mechanisms within Snapchat to help lenses spread organically. And these are built off of existing user behaviors, like chatting to friends and viewing stories, stuff our users do every single day. So when a lens is unlocked, you have the immediate option to send it to your friends or group of friends, just like a chat message. It shows up in your chat feed, you can click to unlock it. Additionally, when you view a story, that utilizes a lens, you're able to swipe up on that story and unlock the lens that was used. This is really important for example, an influencer who posts their lens. All of their viewers can swipe up to unlock it. We also recently released a new feature called More Lenses, and this allows you to look at creators that have made lenses and see all of the lenses that they've created, see the same lenses that they've made. So all of these mechanisms allows lenses to spread organically within Snapchat and grow beyond even that first link or that first snapcode scan. We also have mechanisms for featuring lenses. So first, the lens boost allows creator-made lenses to be featured in our Snapchat daily carousel. So when you submit your lens, creators opt in for a lens boost for possible consideration for featuring. Another really cool way we feature lenses is through our Discover stories. So if a user takes a snap and posts it to our story, that snap could be considered to be added for a Discover story. So for example, we recently ran this story called Surreal Snaps, which was a collection of snaps taken by Snapchatters using lenses also made by Snapchatters. And again, the really important part here is all of the viewers of that story could swipe up on any of those story posts and unlock the lens that was used. So we're also in the early phases of building out our official lens creator program. With it, we plan to call out a select group of creators, 2 of which are here with us today, that are making amazing creations and innovating on the platform and that we want to work more closely with. So as an official lens creator, we plan to promote creations, give access to technical support, give access to new early features, one of which you'll actually see today. So we're really excited about this program. It's pretty new. If there is anybody that's interested in this audience that is interested in joining, I'd love to hear from you after the talk. I should have done this actually in the beginning. How many of you have used the Snapchat lens experience or a Snapchat augmented reality experience? Awesome. And how many of you have actually used Lens Studio? Okay, cool. A few people. So I want to talk a little bit about what lens creation looks like in Lens Studio, what it looks like from a developer's perspective. So with Lens Studio, we really aim to lower the barriers of entry for creating augmented reality. We wanted to make lens creation as easy as 1, 2, 3. So first, it's importing your content. That's 2D images, 3D models, sounds, and more. A lot of creators have this content kind of ready to go. Second, it's building your experience. Instead of giving creators a blank canvas, we've given them multiple templates to choose from. We actually have 20 different templates. And these templates can be thought of as like creative starting places, and they can be expanded upon with more complex interactions. So finally, submitting your lens, it's a button in the tool. You log into your Snapchat account and press submit. Shortly after, you'll get back both your snap code and URL that you can share with the world. So I want to walk through a sampling of some of the templates that we have to offer. So here, for example, are our 2D templates for face creation. The face paint template on the left lets 2D artists paint with an accompanying Photoshop project on the user's face. And this face paint actually distorts with the user's expression. So as they move their cheeks, for example, the face paint distorts. The distort template allows creators to stretch, bulge, and add different facial features to their face. So this is perfect for creating these over-the-top monster-like characters. The 2D object template lets you attach 2D objects to your head. This is perfect for like a 2D illustrator, so you can attach like ears and sunglasses to your face. All of our face templates come with face tracking built in. So with Lens Studio, this is not something you need to worry about. It's just built into the software. Our 3D face templates show you how to attach 3D models to the Snapchatter's head or multiple heads. We also have a trigger template, which allows you to trigger animations based on facial expressions, like opening your mouth or raising your eyebrows. Finally, while visually complex, the baseball cap template is actually one of the easiest templates to use. All we ask is that you import a single team logo and tune a couple colors, your team's primary and secondary color, and we automatically create a baseball cap for you. So this is perfect if you want to make a baseball cap for your like son's Little League team or something. So here's a sampling of our 3D world lens experiences. The static object template allows you to place a static 3D model in the world, almost like a piece of furniture, let's say. The animated object template builds on that by adding looping animation. So compare this to our dancing hot dog lens. The look around immersive template lets you surround the user with content using the device's gyroscope. It's important to note, all of our world experiences have the Snapchat World Lens experience built into the templates. So the ability to place an object in the world and be able to physically approach it and walk around it on all devices. The ability to move, scale, and rotate that content, it's all built into the template. So as a creator, it's not something you need to worry about. We really hope this allows creatives to focus on their idea and less about the complex technology that we all know drives augmented reality. The interactive template adds in interactivity. So for example, it's an evolution of the animated object template. So we can be triggering things based on tapping a character, approaching, looking at. And these interactions can be combined together to create more complex interactive experiences. And finally, we have a number of world templates specifically for 2D creators. So the cutout template on the left lets you position 2D objects in 3D space, almost like a pop-up book. The picture frame template lets you create a lens all by importing a single image, just like the baseball cap. And here, this is great for like creating a lens of a family photo. I like to use this lens when I talk to like students. We'll literally have a lens in the first couple minutes. The full screen template allows you to create complex state-driven experiences, almost like a music video, all without writing a single line of code. So next, I'd like to focus on some of our lens creators and how they're using these templates to evolve more complex experiences, using them as foundations. So first, Clara. She's a very talented multimedia artist with a 2D, 3D, interactive background. She's kind of one of these all-hats developers. She created this 3D model for this food dog character. She imported it into our trigger template and then bound some animations to opening the mouth and raising the eyebrows. And what you see on the right is this really pretty reflective mask that when you open your mouth, it roars, and when you raise your eyebrows, it responds to your facial expressions. Next, we have a lens created by Studio MDHR, the creators of the indie game hit Cuphead. Studio MDHR actually imported the exact animations they used in their game into Lens Studio using the cutout template, which allows you to position 2D images in 3D space. They then upgraded this template by adding in different interactions, like being able to position the characters independently, being able to tap to trigger their firing animations, or even tap to kill them. And what you get is this really awesome storytelling experience where you could put your friend in the role of a boss battle and have them fight the characters from the game. Next, Clay Entertainment, the creators of Don't Starve, another indie game, brought their Chester character to life. So for the Chester lens, the user actually draws a path on the floor, and Chester follows. And you could actually tap Chester to get his attention if he kind of gets distracted. So we actually worked really closely with Clay while they were working on this lens and took that functionality and built a template out of it. And this is something we want to do more of. But the interactive path template, which is very much derived from this experience, is in Lens Studio today. So you can create your own Chester-like experience without writing any code. Next, we have D-Face. D-Face is this amazing graffiti artist with murals all over the world. He has a very iconic one on the 10 in Los Angeles. He imported a 3D model of his D-Dog character into Lens Studio. So here he's using the Lens Studio's from camera reflections technology, which basically takes the camera feed and builds an environment map for it. So what you can see on the right is the sunset of that beach reflected on that chrome content. And that paired with the real-time shadow that you get in Lens Studio for free gives you this real feeling that the content's actually there in the world and it's actually reflecting the content that you're seeing. So Lens Studio is very much the same, very similar to the tool that we use internally to build and test lenses, and it's very similar to the tool that we use to work with some of the biggest brands in the world. So we recently released this experience in collaboration with the Jordan team. So the inspiration was the 1988 dunk contest where Michael Jordan jumped from the foul line. So yeah, exactly. Over All-Star Weekend, users were able to see MJ floating in the air, just like he's appeared in that 1988 classic poster. So here you can actually see our high-quality physically based rendering at work. So with it, we're able to replicate the texture of his skin, the textiles on his clothes, even the rubber on the soles of his shoes, that kind of slightly transparent rubber. And there was a real meticulous attention to detail here for getting the exact height of that jump, and we worked very closely with the Jordan team on this. A fun little aside, I was staying very late working on this lens for All-Star Weekend, and we thought it was a bug that he was floating too high. So we actually had to get a tape measure out to measure it. Turns out Michael Jordan just jumps really high, and we were correct. Or I'm really short. And next, finally, for the season 2 premiere of Stranger Things, Netflix challenged us to bring the upside down to life. So here we created a lens that allows users to enter a portal into Joyce's living room. And inside the room, users were able to interact with objects, like turning on the television, spelling their name out in the Christmas lights wall, even awakening the Demigorgon. And the coolest part is that when you entered the portal, you can turn around and see the world that you came from. So you're really taken to this new dimension. So again, lens experiences don't stop at the template functionality. They simply offer you this foundation point to grow upon. And this lens, for example, is very complex and uses our JavaScript API to add in all of those interactions. We actually have a template that's coming out very soon that's going to allow you to do things like this very easy. So now I'm actually going to switch over to Lens Studio and give you guys a live demo of what making a lens looks like inside the tool. So we'll close out of here. Cool, you can see my screen. Perfect. All right, so the first thing we're going to do, obviously, is open up Lens Studio. For the purpose of this demonstration, I'm going to use the distort template, which doesn't require any resources. Actually, if you guys have Lens Studio, feel free to follow along if you'd like. So I'm going to select the distort template. What the distort template does is it distorts the face. So it bulges the face, it stretches it. So here's Lens Studio. Lens Studio is made up of a series of panels. Each panel serves a very functional purpose. So we'll start with the preview panel. The preview panel on the right gives you a live real-time preview of exactly what your lens will look like inside Lens Studio. And we have a number of videos of models that have captured different expressions. So this is how we test, for example, when a character opens the mouth, do something. But more importantly, I often work in the webcam mode, where the webcam I can actually see in real time what's happening on the lens on my face. So I'm going to be talking with this on the rest of the talk. So then we'll move over to the left, which is the Objects panel. The Objects panel is where you add new objects to your scene, and you can see all of the objects that make up your current scene. So currently I have a stretch that's stretching my face. I have these liquefy points that are making my eyes a little bulgier. And I have a face inset, which is giving me that giant mouth. So we'll start to tune some of those. So the general workflow is I select an object in the Objects panel, and then I tune it in either the Scene panel in the middle or the Inspector panel to the right of that, where the settings are. So for the face stretch, I'm just going to tune it via the Stretch panel in the Scene panel. So here, I'm just going to drag these points, and you see as I drag them, it starts to stretch my face. So I'm going to give myself like a chipmunk look, I think. All right. So I've stretched my face. Dial back down. I'm going to make my head a little taller, like a Frankenstein monster. How's this looking, guys? Any suggestions? Okay. So now that we've spent our time tuning our stretch, we'll move over to the face inset. What the face inset allows you to do is add an additional face feature to your face. So for example, here, I've had this mouth, and it's my real mouth, and I could drag it anywhere on my face. So I could switch this in the Inspector panel. Again, normal workflow is select an object in the Objects panel, and then tune its settings in the Inspector panel. So here I'm going to change the face region to, for example, the right eye. So now I have an eye in my head. Or what I want to do is change it to a nose. And then I'm going to drag it over my nose to give myself a nice chubby nose there. Awesome. The liquefy points, they basically spherically warp an area of your face. So currently, they're making my eyes bigger. You see when I turn it off, my eye gets back to normal size. I'm actually going to dial these down a bit because they're a little intense now. Let's go 1.5 on the intensity. 1.5. That's looking good. Okay, so now in the bottom left-hand corner is where we're going to add resources to Lens Studio. So resources are 2D images, 3D models, sounds, and more. So how you can add a resource is add new and import files and select an image from your desktop, for example. Or what I'm going to try to do is actually use our Giphy integration, if the internet's working. It is. And so with Giphy stickers, you can actually add any sticker from Giphy to your lens very easily. So let's search sunglasses. These heart ones are great. So I'm going to add this as a face sprite. What this is going to do is attach those sunglasses to my head after it's imported. So you're seeing they're coming in a little small, like little tiny glasses. I want to make them bigger. So now I have these attached to my head. You'll notice that as I'm moving my head, they're aligning with the camera. All I need to do to make it so that it moves with my head's perspective is to uncheck this box, align with camera. So now it looks a little more 3D. And I'm going to set the blend mode of these glasses so that I can actually see my eyes coming through. So I'm going to change its blend mode to hard light, for example. And so now we basically have our lens experience. So now I want to show you what submission of this lens looks like. We're actually going to submit it right now. So we'll go to the project info button in the top left-hand corner. Only thing you need to do here is set your lens's icon and name the lens. So we'll call this Hardy. Sure. Click apply. And then submitting your lens is easy as pressing the submit button. Shortly after, you'll get this submission prompt. All you need to do is click submit. And you're taken to My Lens Interiors. What My Lenses is the portal for all of your lenses that are currently live. You can also deactivate lenses from here and see the status of all your lenses. Any lens that I've submitted before has the view count, the scan count, and the number of times it's been shared. And we should be able to refresh this. And yeah, you'll see that our lens, Hardy, just went live. So within the matter of, what was that, a few minutes, we have a lens that's now shareable to every Snapchatter. So now I want to quickly walk you through a more complex experience showing what creating a world lens looks like. So to do that, I'm going to create a new project called the Animated Tap Template. And this is going to be a rear camera world experience, so something that's happening on the rear camera side. I'm going to switch my camera here. And so you see this little character dancing on the ground. When I tap it, he does a little jump. And so I'm going to modify this template with some custom content we've created. So to do that, I'm going to go right-click and import object. And I'm going to select this dinosaur model that our 3D team, our amazing 3D team created. So here you see T-Rex just showed up on top of that elephant. So we don't need the elephant anymore. So go ahead and delete him. Then what I'm going to do is tell T-Rex to be the person that's playing the animation. And so I just set him as the animation player, and then I'm going to say the animation names that he's supposed to play are both an idle and tap animation. And we name that in our software like Maya. And so now you see, tap the character, and he has this now interaction where he roars. I'm going to switch to this view where I can make the dinosaur a little bit bigger. There we go. So the next thing I want to do is I'm going to upgrade this experience by adding some more complex interactivity. What I want to do is when he roars, I want the screen to shake, the entire camera feed to shake. So we'll kind of show you a more complex use case with some scripting here. So to do this, I'm going to add a new billboard. What a billboard is a screen-attached image on top of the camera feed. I'm going to use the texture for the billboard to be the actual camera output. And so we're overlaying the camera over the camera. And what this allows me to do is scale this up and down, and you'll see that we zoomed in. This is perfect if you want to make a lens that's like, dun, 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 zoom in the camera. So now I'm going to animate that billboard. So what I'll do is I'll import our tween system. What a tween system does is it allows you to move from one point to another or one value to another. And we're going to do that. We're going to use that to basically move the tween system. Let me just save this, Dino. So we're going to go back to our billboard. We'll call that the shake. Then I'm going to add in the tween system and select tween billboard, which is our tween system that tweens the billboard. So the first thing I need to do to tween this billboard is to name it, because we're going to want to call that later. I'm going to have it play automatically for now. I'm going to have it loop, and I'm also going to have it tween the size, going from, let's say, 1. So here it's going from 1 to 0. And so that's making it kind of zoom into the screen. But what we actually want to do is probably make it go from like 1 to 1.1. So now you can see it's kind of pulsing up and down. And then what I'm going to do is change its time to be quicker. So we're starting to get that screen shake that we're looking for. Then one little cool thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to change the blend mode of that image. Or actually, I'm going to just dial down the alpha, I think. And so here you get this cool like parallaxing effect, sort of like a blur. OK, so now the dinosaur is shaking, or the screen is shaking. I'm going to uncheck play automatically, because what we want to do is have that screen shake happen when the user taps to trigger that roar animation. So we're going to create a pretty simple script here. Actually, we're just going to import a little script I made beforehand. And so what this JavaScript does is it's going to play that screen shake when the user taps the screen, and then it's going to stop the screen shake when the user finishes it. So we'll create a new object, add this new script we created. We're going to tell it to point to the shake object, and then we're going to tell it to do a delay and for how long it's going to shake. And then the last thing we need to do is call this shake function when we actually tap. So I'm using the actual script that comes with the template and just overriding it with calling this function to do the shake. And so now when I refresh, I'm able to tap the screen, and it shakes while the dinosaur roars. And importing as sounds is as easy as just dragging and dropping those sounds, for example, into the template as well. And like before, submitting this experience is as easy as pressing that submit button and pressing submit. And then we're taken back to My Lenses, where we can see all the lenses that are currently live. So that's a little demo. It shows you kind of one template that is not requiring any resources. You can pretty much work with it outside of the box to stretch the face, add different facial features. And then we've shown you another template that we've taken a model, imported it in, added the tap animation, and then expanded upon it with some more complex JavaScript to make the experience even more interactive and more impressive. There he goes. Cool. So now I want to bring up one of our creators, Brian Garcia, who's going to talk to us a little bit about the 3D scan and motion capture experiences he's creating using Lens Studio. So, Brian.
Hi, everyone. My name is Brian Garcia. I'm a designer, animator, and lens creator. I've been using Lens Studio since the fall. Pictured here is the first lens I made called Neon Boogie. And I've been playing around with 3D scanning and stuff for a few years now. And the first, whenever I got access to Lens Studio, was I want to see how far we can push photoreal avatars. Can we start to like how far can we push it? And so this was the first lens I made called Neon Boogie.
No.
That's my youngest saying no, because he's getting tired of me using this lens all the time. Yeah, so I wanted to make a goofy scan of myself in the most ridiculous 80s fitness, like, inspired outfit that I could. Um, it was really hard to actually find a purple leotard, though. I actually had to buy fabric and make it just for the scan. It did not survive beyond the scan because I'm not good at sewing, but it just got on, got scanned, and that was it. But yeah, so I also made the music that accompanied it too. So pretty much this lens is like, I did everything. So I used a couple of different scanning techniques. For this one I used photogrammetry. The software I'm using here is AggieSoft PhotoScan. And if you're not familiar with photogrammetry, essentially you take lots of photos from lots of different angles, and the software can detect and pinpoint where the camera positions are and can then recreate a point cloud and a mesh from that data. Ideally, you would want it in a studio with controlled lighting, but I didn't have that, but I had a cell phone and a friend who could just rotate it around, and I stayed really still, and the results were pretty good. I was really pleased with it. And then for the motion capture, I set up a couple of Kinects in the studio after hours at work, and so no one had to see me doing this. And yeah, I tried a couple of different variations, and this is what I ended up. Originally, the song that I was dancing to was Shake It Off, but couldn't use that one, so I had to write another one. But that was the BPM I was going for. I was like, I want to have that groove. Yeah. So here it is inside Lens Studio. I used the animated object template, which made it really easy to import the stuff I had made, and I cleaned up everything and brought it into Cinema. Had to optimize the mesh. I used 3D Coat for that to do my retopology, and XNormal for reprojecting textures. Brought it all into Cinema, exported FBX, brought it straight into Lens Studio, and the texture quality I was really, really pleased with how much of the scanned data that I was able to keep. And it still looked like me. A little creepy because my face doesn't move, but I was happy with this lens. There were a few examples of it being used. This was, I took my daughter ice skating and decided to put me out on the ice. The one on the right, a friend of mine was performing a concert, and so I put myself up on stage, sent him the video later, and I was like, hey dude, this is consider this my audition to be your backup dancer. I haven't heard back, but I'm hoping. So the next thing I wanted to do after this was, okay, I can bring in a photoreal avatar that's mostly static, like the body moves, but the face doesn't move. So my next goal was, how can I bring in face animation and blend shapes? And so based on the work I did here, the Chainsmokers record label saw my work for Neon Boogie, and in association with Block Party and Disruptive Records, they approached me about, can you do something like this for us? I was like, well, here's my chance, because they wanted face animation, lip sync, and so I said, yeah, let's go for it. And so we followed a lot of the same process, photogrammetry for the heads from cell phone footage, but we added full face animation and motion capture. So the footage on the left is the footage that I received for the singer, Andrew, and the footage on the right are the results for both of them, Andrew and Alex. And so even though he blinked in the footage and moved a little bit, there was some cleanup I had to do, but overall, I was, again, super, super pleased with the results that you can get from just being really still and having your friend film you with a cell phone. We used the Connect 2, and this is iPieSoft to capture different movements and animations, and yeah. And here's a few examples of this lens live, and The middle one, you can see the face animation's a little bit better. He lip syncs to about 45 seconds of their latest single that they're wanting to promote. Yeah, so that's part of my process and how I have been using 3D scanning and trying to push photoreal avatars and fitting it all within 4 megabytes for Snap, and yeah, I think that was it. Yeah.
We have Sophia from her company Surf to talk about some of the portal experiences she's creating. Sophia.
Hello. Hi, my name is Sophia. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Surf. We're building a search engine for virtual reality and augmented reality. Some quick background, we've actually just learned today that we've shipped 23 lenses with Snapchat Studio, and the majority of them have been portals, so I'm going to talk a little bit about our process for portal creation, what we think works, and a bit about how we essentially build a portal. These are 2 of our examples. I'll showcase them throughout the presentation. So first, before we start getting into portals, like what made us think about taking originally we were just indexing VR content and suddenly realizing, oh, we can bring virtual reality to augmented reality in this really fun way. And the first example that we saw was one that Travis already touched on in his presentation with the Stranger Things experience. So when we saw that, we were like, wow, you can literally walk into a virtual world using augmented reality. And the second proof point for that was we had this tweet go pretty viral. This is a creator called Voxel Kai who's doing a lot of work with the HoloLens. And we just tweeted it because we thought it was really awesome and showcased, this bridge between real and digital. And the minute that we saw that do really, really well, we were like, okay, people want to be able to easily experience digital worlds in a really, really easy way. Why don't we start utilizing Lens Studio to do that? So one of the first portals that we did was Elon Musk's Space Starman edition. So on the day that Elon Musk sent a Tesla into space, suddenly we were seeing everywhere, in every single news blog and every single Twitter feed, it was like this image of Starman circling the globe. But in essence, when you think about space, you think about this vast space that you want to be a part of, so why couldn't we allow someone to experience that in a virtual setting? And so naturally, the immediate reaction was, let's build this utilizing Lens Studio. And we had to do this in a very short amount of time because we realized we didn't know how long Starman was going to be going viral for. So this experience we built in a little bit under 2 hours. All it was a 360-degree world of stars. We took a globe, a 3D asset of the world, and just cut out a 2D asset of Starman and had him circling space. I don't even think we did a script. I honestly don't remember. Shipped it to Snapchat, Reddit, or SnapLens's Reddit account, which I highly recommend checking out if you guys are doing any sort of promotion. Very quickly rose to the top, had a few tweets with some help, some friends that are actually here on Twitter, and then that just it spiraled out of control. That lens actually has around 700,000 views on Snapchat, and that was zero paid marketing. That was just focusing on timely relevant content. On a similar note, this is a portal promotion, or a portal that we made for the royal wedding. So as you saw earlier, that Travis mentioned, we saw that, I think it was ABC? Today Show. Today Show did a lens, and we were like, oh, that's smart. Why don't we allow somebody to walk down the aisle? And what we didn't realize at the time was that if you add a face occluder to a lens, you can allow someone to appear in a portal. So that's just something to think about if you guys are making an experience or you're making a portal. You can allow them to appear inside of it, which is really, really cool. So if you have a face lens attached to that, they would appear inside of the portal. Again, we ship that to Snap Lenses. So I'm going to talk a little bit about our process now. So this is our first portal experience that we ever created. It was essentially fan art for Shape of Water. And what we learned was, in 2 days we had around 40,000 views without really doing anything. I think we shipped it to the Reddit account and a few tweets. But suddenly, just the fact that it was just spreading, I remember someone, one of our friends basically said that one of their friends had sent them something from Portland, or a lens from Portland. And to us, that was like, wow, the ability for utilizing Snapchat's network to just like allow for this content to spread on its own organically is really, really, it's just really, really impressive. And this content just speaks so well within Snapchat. And again, talking about the, like people are craving the ability to access digital worlds, and utilizing Snapchat is a great way to do that. And the way that we think about content is focusing on timely and relevant content. Again, timely, so that's like what's going viral, what are people talking about today, what's relevant to people in their lives today, and bringing that into like an AR and VR format. So this is this is our first face lens experience that we did with Snapchat Lens Studio. We of course had to add a portal because we felt like that was just like very on brand for what we were doing. Typically, when we start out, we do a brainstorming session, which I'll get into. We'll do a few sketches, and then we do like a world building phase. And so what that is well, like what do we want the user to feel? What do we want them to experience? What sort of world do we allow them to access or unlock? And then we go through a portal iteration phase. And what that means is, how does this feel? Like, is the height of the portal correct? Like, what can we be doing better? What's missing inside the environment? And now I'll talk through, I guess we're going to announce the portal template today. So we were doing portals before there was a portal template, and now with the portal template, it allows people to really easily create portal experiences. So I'm going to be talking about the experience that we made with the portal template, which should be released soon. So this is, again, our brainstorming phase. What we think about is what's trending. So like, what are people talking about? What are people focusing on social media? What are people sharing? Once we kind of nail that and we figure out, okay, what sort of thing are we trying to communicate? What do we want to do with the experience that we want to build or that we want to ship? And then typically we then use Pinterest or some sort of like ideation board of what do we want the experience to convey. And that's really important. Like if you guys are creating something, it's really, really important to not like skip details on this phase, because then you'll end up having to go back and like think through a bunch of different things. So the more ideas that you have and the more fleshed out your environment or what you want to create, the easier the rest of the process will be. So this is world creation. Something that we've learned over time is the focus on having 1 to 3 things that a user can relate to automatically in an environment. So stemming from that is, who is the main character? Is there a character? What is the one thing that somebody can look at and like completely understand in a very, very quick way? Because again, even though people are, you have a very short attention span, people have very short attention span, you need to capture them as quickly as possible. And on that note, is it front-facing or back-facing? Is it both? When I say front-facing, are you using a face lens or are you using a world lens? And that's something that you have to hash out pretty quickly. The way that we've been doing things is we typically do both. That's just like pretty on brand from us, just like we like to allow people to become a part of the full environment. And then from there, it's like, what assets do we use? I'll talk a little bit more about this. So this is like a quick process of us building the portal that I'll showcase at the end. For us, the main source of where we get our assets from is TurboSquid. We just it has huge resource, and if we can buy them, if we want to buy them. And then like this environment was created in Maya, so the volcano is super simple, island super simple, and then we just used like the water as an asset. So we just did the part that we're not really touching on here is the importance of color. So again, that goes back to the idea board. That's something that we spend the most time on, I think. Like when we're creating an environment, it's like, how does this look? How does this feel? Is the color right? Color impacts a lot of how people feel. And so we'll get a little bit to that. So this is the portal iteration phase, and what the portal template really helps with is it's just a script. So all you have to do now is if you want to build a portal environment, you can just add, the template provides it for you. And you don't have to like worry about setting up the occluders and matching it to like the portal entrance essentially, which is really, really great. The thing that we wanted to focus on this portal experience was something that we saw through realizing how other people were using our portals, was a lot of people didn't understand, like you have to walk into the environment. And so what we wanted to do with this experience, partly because we had this script that allowed portal setup to be so easy, so we had a little bit more time, was what if we took a character that was a part of the environment and like allowed, like showcase that you could walk through the portal entrance, and like allowing the person to really connect with the character and like showing the fact that you can follow this like really cute little dinosaur. And so once you kind of work that out, it's really testing what is the point of the portal? Like, do people care? Is this interesting? Do they want to consume it? Because if it's not interesting, it's not cute, it's not fun, it doesn't make you feel anything, then what's the point? Like, what are you doing anyways? And again, then go back to the idea board and just like iterate on that until you feel good about the project. If you don't feel good about it, that means that people probably won't, and so that's really, really important. So the release. Before you release it to, and like I know it's super easy to just ship to Snapchat, definitely test with people. Like see how other people feel. You can just like ask people on the street. You can like ask people in your co-working space or anything like that. And just like something that we learned was the position of the portal really matters. So for example, like I'm average height, but suddenly we tested with somebody who we work with who's like 6 foot tall, and he was like ducking to get into the portal, and it made for this like really awkward experience. And when I say portal placement matters, so where you take your video that you're going to post on social media, that really matters. At the end of the day, like you're telling a story, and it's really, really important to like provide people with an idea of like where you think the story can live best. Yes, it can be anywhere and people can experience it anywhere, but what is like the full story that you want to convey to people and allow people to like enter into an environment or see? Because the reality is most people are going to see these things on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, but they have to want to experience it themselves. And so you want to showcase that in like the best environment and tell the story that you want to tell in order to get people into experience it yourself. And yeah, ship it. And then Lens Studio is really great. It provides you with lots of data around how many people saw it, and how many people shared it, and how people are scanning it. And that really shows, you know, you can learn pretty quickly if the lens is going to do well or not, or like how you can better promote it.
Awesome. So, thanks so much, Sophia. That was awesome. So now really quickly, I just want to show you some new things that are coming to Lens Studio, and then we can end with some questions. So first, we're going to be introducing the face and picture template. What this allows you to do is import a single 2D background image and overlay a face or facial features to it. So for example here, I imported a picture of a bowl of spaghetti and added in an eyes and mouth to it to make this spaghetti monster lens. Next, really excited to announce the portal template, which Sophia has used, and we are actually working with some of our official lens creators to evolve it. It allows you to create a portal into another world and gives you support for interactivity without writing any scripts. So the ability to tap things in the scene or ability to trigger something when you enter the portal. So for example, the portal that the template comes with, you walk up to this door, it opens up as you walk into it. You see this lively robotic world. As soon as you enter, this like theme song starts playing, and you have to find this button. And when you find it, you're freely walking around, you press it, and this rocket launches off in the distance. So you can use the portal template to do all of that, all those types of interactivity, without writing any script. And most importantly, the portal template takes advantage of native device tracking if available on the device. So we actually utilize ARKit and ARCore on compatible devices to give you a better tracked experience. So you're actually able to look up and walk through the experience or really freely move around. But the cool thing, too, is that the template also offers smart fallbacks for lower-end devices. Again, it's really important that all of our lenses work cross-platform and on all kinds of devices from high to low end. So we give you these smart fallbacks for all of our users so that they all have a good experience. So thank you so much for joining us today. Happy to answer any questions on Lens Studio. And feel free to reach out to us, too, at hellolensstudio@snapchat.com.
Great. Question over here?
Forgive my ignorance, but is there a way for lens developers to monetize their developments beyond creating something for a client that wants to advertise their product or service?
So currently there is not. The big thing that we're focusing on right now is bringing more visibility to creators. So that's really our big initiative right now. And you should see some stuff coming pretty soon on that front.
More questions?
Hi, my name is Daniel. I'm from a company called Man of Motion.
Hey, Daniel.
I have a question. Are you working with anything with interaction with objects, not only on the screen, but actually in the physical world, so you actually can touch them or you can modify them?
So like you can put your hand out and
Exactly.
got it. So the current version of Lens Studio, our tracking actually detects surfaces and surface planes. And that surface plane could be a book you move into the scene or a hand you move into the scene. And you can, through some scripting, kind of detect that and trigger something based off of it. You can also, it's really fun, with just the templates that I exemplified, you can have a character attached to your hand and you can actually move it to another surface. That's all built into our existing surface tracking system.
Yeah, but what I'm aiming at is that the hand itself, you will always place the digital objects on top of your hand instead of being able to interact with them. So are you working anything in that direction?
Got it. Currently, we don't have anything like that, but it's a great idea. It's something I think we would love to explore. So you're thinking like I could actually go
You can push the button.
push the button with my hand.
yeah.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, thanks.
Another question here.
Hi, Bill Meyer from the Virtual Science Center. Great talk, and the work
thank
you
you.
guys are doing is amazing.
Thanks.
I saw some things in there earlier that had to do with like some physics simulations out in the environment.
Sure.
Are you doing anything in a formal or even not so formal way with schools around education? If you could speak to that for a sec.
I think this is an area that we would love to be doing more. It's such a cool idea. We've done a little bit, I'll say. So we've gone to various schools. We actually just recently went to USC for their VR club and did a whole presentation and had them even build lenses. We did this thing with this young group of women in Los Angeles that are interested in technology, where we also kind of did like a multi-hour course where they actually built multiple lenses, actually. So it's something that we were really excited about. It is really awesome watching young people play with the tool, especially when you just like flip that switch, where this is something that they can do. Like augmented reality is totally within reach. And as soon as that switch is flipped and they just go into creative mode, like all the complex technology behind it goes away and they're just figuring out what they want to make. And so that's super fun to watch in the experiences that I've had with that at a couple high schools. So this is an area we'd love to explore more of. I would love to talk to you too if you have any ideas there. But it's something we're super interested. We've talked a lot about it internally. Yeah, and again, if you do want to reach out to us, hellolensstudio@snapchat.com. We'd love to hear from you. We're also looking for people to collaborate with to help us learn and evolve the tool.
Hi there. Speaking of the community, where's the best place to meet people like Sophia and Brian and the rest of the people creating lenses?
That's a good. I'm gonna leave that to Sophia and Brian. Where's the best place?
I mean, I know it sounds kind of weird, but the first place that I started seeing repeated creators was on Reddit. So even if you don't use Reddit and all you want to do is just check the SnapLens subreddit, and it's a super active community. You get to see, like, you'll see repeated usernames. Everyone's really friendly. You can just like start talking to people. I see conversations happening all the time. And from there, then like I've followed some other people on Twitter and things like that. And I think that's been my way of connecting with people the most. I don't know if Brian has a different.
Yeah, it's mostly been Reddit and Twitter, but the More Lenses feature that they just added recently helped me discover like other lenses that people have made, and it boosted my traffic a lot because I've had a few popular lenses and then other ones that weren't as popular. But as soon as that feature went live, all of my lenses saw a boost across the board. So that's definitely a good way to explore.
Cool. If you go to lensstudio.snapchat.com, there's a lenses button, and there you can see various trending lenses. So that's a great way to kind of find what some of the most popular lenses are. I also love to go to Reddit and just search new, and it's literally up to the minute, like people submitting their lenses. It's been fun to watch for sure.
Okay, so we're out of time. That was great. Let's hear a big hand.
Thank you.